All right. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Go ahead and enable the chats before we begin. Give me one moment. There we go. Be able to chat with everyone. I'm super excited for today's workshop. Wonderful. Let's see who's on. Okay. Have a few people joining us. Thank you all for joining. Hello, Carolyn. Nice to meet you. And, as people are joining on, we're giving it a couple minutes. Please let us know where you're tuning in from. I'm out here in the Inland Empire, if anyone knows where that's at. Let's see. Wonderful. San Diego. Wonderful. Oceanside. Wonderful. Okay. A lot of people in San Diego County. Wonderful. And if you're not, that is okay. Well, let's see what time. Give about one more minute. And while we're waiting for more people to join. Oh, from Madrid. Hello, Stacy. Wonderful. While we're waiting for more people to join, I'm gonna pull up today's presentation. Give me a moment. Sorry, I hear my kid in the back. Let's see. Slideshow. Give me one moment. Oops. Okay. I actually had the I'm gonna quiet down my toddler really quickly and then I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. Let's go ahead and get started. Pull up the presentation. Oops. Can everyone see my screen okay? Yes. All right. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's workshop. And today's topic is something that's near and dear to my heart. I love educating small businesses and nonprofits about government contracting. And, sometimes government contracting can seem kind of difficult to navigate, but I really wanted to create this workshop in partnership with Project Most, the County of San Diego, and the Prep Institute to support small businesses and nonprofits, educating them on where to begin. I know when it comes to government contracting, it can seem like a lot, but there are like baby steps that you can take to get into it. And so today we're going to talk about that first baby step, which is creating a capability statement. And we'll go over what a capability statement is. But before we begin, I want to talk a little bit about our program. Um, I have Natasha on. Let's see, from the Prep Institute. I want to see, Natasha, did you want to share a little bit about Project Most?
Sure. Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome everybody. Forgive me, my video is not working this morning. So, very quickly, the County of San Diego is supporting and investing in the growth of small businesses and small nonprofits. And that's where Project Most comes in. It is uniquely designed to focus on one thing: how do we help you grow? Whether through government contracting, whether through diverse revenue strategies, workforce development, we're answering that question. And so we're using these Grow Up series training program to, to provide that information to you. So, again, I want to welcome everybody. I also want to mention one thing if you're not aware, the County of San Diego is making decisions to simplify the government contracting process for small businesses and small nonprofits. So be on the look for that. If you have a government representative, reach out to them. I know that they'll make their final decisions in April. And hopefully, after that, we will host a workshop letting you know, because the county wants to communicate to you all exactly how they're going to simplify the process for small organizations. So, again, please be on the look for that. This is an outstanding opportunity to take advantage of this new direction that the county is moving towards. And their specific focus is for organizations that are socially conscious and serves under-resourced communities. So again, thank you, Elizabeth, for doing this presentation, and thank you all for joining.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Natasha. And before again, I also want to share a little bit about Black Tech Link and what we do. We're a California-based nonprofit whose mission is to focus on the economic development of Black communities by providing workforce solutions, technical training, and networking opportunities. We're excited to bring our expertise, our networks expertise, to provide workshops through Project Most and for the County of San Diego. And yeah, through our small business mastery program, we have other offerings where we provide other educational workshops. We also provide free consultation as well. So if you're looking for a one-on-one, please feel free to reach out to us. I'll put our information in the chat later. All right. And as Natasha stated, as she mentioned, the county is looking to simplify the contracting process. And I wanted to share an upcoming event where the County of San Diego will be present, as well as the City of San Diego and the State of California, San Diego Unified School District, San Diego Gas and Electric. There's a lot of contractors that will be present there. And if you're interested in learning more about different contracting opportunities available for you, I highly encourage you to attend. If you go to this URL, bellgroupsd.com, you can register there, look from the event section, and I'll also put a direct link to the application. All right, so let's begin. Before we begin, I want to share a little bit about my journey. So I am a government contractor, and my organization, we're a social conscious organization. I share what we do, and I was looking for ways to, I started about 5 years ago, and I was looking for ways to grow the work that we do, expand on it. A lot of the things that we we're doing, a lot of it was passion projects, doing this out of the goodness of my heart, wanting to help my community and producing programs and events. And I really, as I began to do that, I started to find contracting opportunities of opportunities doing exactly what our organization does. And so I wanted to figure out how we could leverage utilizing a government contract to support our community even and create bigger impact. So that's why I definitely love government contracting. And like I said, there are baby steps to get to where you need to be in the government contracting space. And just as you are looking for, like, you were looking for a job, you provide a resume. In the government contracting space, you provide what's called a capability statement. It's pretty much a resume for your business. A capability statement is a concise professional document that outlines the company's organizations, competencies, achievements, key information. It's used in business development, especially when seeking contracts, partnerships, or funding. We've done presentations in the past where we've had the county and the state come and they talk about like how different agencies within the government, different departments, they have buyers, they have people that make purchasing decisions. And one way that you're able to connect, market your business is by providing them your capability statement. And so we really wanted to walk through like what entails, like what encompasses a great stellar capability statement. And so I shared a little bit about how you use it. Like I said, applying for government contracts or grants. Now take it. You don't necessarily like when applying for a government contract, you don't just send in your capability statement. They're like, yes, we'll hire you. There are steps to this. But if you do come across like a contract and you identify like, oh, this is the person that's buying it, the agency, you may want to send them your capability statement, give them a heads up so they may be aware of what you're doing. And so that's kind of like an insider tip. Um, Responding to RFPs if you come across proposals, requests for information. So there's RFPs, which is the request for proposal, where you submit a proposal, or request for a quote, where they just kind of want like what your budget may be to do a project, and request for information, RFI. So in an RFI, you would most likely send them a capability statement. And sometimes they have questions that they want you to answer in an RFI, but it's always great to send them a capability statement like your resume when you're pitching to corporate partners. So just as governments purchase like products, services, so do corporations. And it's also great if you're looking to do business with the company, become a supplier, a vendor. You can also send them your capability statement. Sometimes there are events like Meet the Buyers, matchmaking conferences, small business networking events. Um, and I would say, just as you go to these events, like if you're looking for a job, instead of taking your resume, you're going to take your capability statement and it'll outline some of the things we're going to talk about today. And you can also share it with potential donors or collaborators as well. All right, components of a stellar capability statement. We're going to go over each of these. So definitely want to have a company overview, your core competencies, differentiators, past performance, and company data. And give me one moment. We're going to work in tandem. I'm going to share my capability statement. Let me see. There we go. All right. Okay. So, all right. So the first thing you want to do is maybe have like a few sentences, short blurb about your company. It could be your vision, your mission, your value statements, providing information about what it is that you do, and any relevant history. All right, so I'm going to stop my share because I want to show you my capability statement that I use. File, let's see. All right. Can anyone see this? Yeah. Okay, wonderful. So this is my capability statement, and we'll go over each of these components. My capability statement, I start off with an overview. So it says our mission. It talks about the services that we provide as an organization. So we provide workforce development, business development strategies, community-based outreach solutions. We do marketing and just kind of a little bit of information sharing about like our experience. Like our management team had and our board has over 15 years of experience serving clients in multiple industries. Okay. So that's the background, and that's kind of what you want centered at the top of your page. Just I know in resumes, it would be what's called like a executive summary, right? When you have this experience, your objective, that's what that would be, your company overview. Okay. All right. Next would be your core competencies. Um, I know sometimes like our organization, especially if you're a nonprofit, you're a business, you definitely want to state what areas of expertise or what services you provide, what products you provide. And so you want to provide a brief overview of what your organization does. So if you're an IT business, you want to list out, hey, these are the technologies we may use, you know, whether you do cybersecurity, systems engineering, you want to talk about the systems that you're familiar with, the different enterprise resource planning systems that you may be familiar with. Um, if you provide, what else? Marketing services, right? You want to be able to provide, hey, we do, marketing is so broad. You want to say, hey, we do website design, we do merchandising, apparel design, we do PR, public relations. So you want to list your core competencies because what a buyer is going to do, they're going to quickly look, okay, what are they selling, right? And so you feel comfortable and you want them to have information very quickly because there's a lot of different other organizations, companies that may provide similar services. So you definitely want your resume to stand out, or your capability statement to stand out, but also be very concise as well. So making sure that you have your services outlined pretty nicely, very quickly, and just so the people reading it aren't getting confused. I'm going to be toggling back and forth between mine just so you can see. So these are some of the services that we provide as an organization. So we do marketing services, we do copywriting, graphic design, we do educational support. These are the kind of services that we provide. After school programs, we do a little bit of recruitment, executive search, staffing, diversity recruitment, candidate sourcing. And then we do some grant management, fund management, capacity building, um, things like that. All right, moving on. Next. All right. So, as I mentioned before, there are a lot of vendors that may be seeking the same contract as you. So, you definitely want to write on your capability statement what differentiates you from the next person, the next guy, the next woman, right? What are some unique strengths, some certifications, licenses, awards, community impact? Put that stuff down. Don't be shy when you're creating your capability statement. I think I have in my new capability statement, we just recently received a couple of contracts. So I put in my like past performance of who I've helped and things like that. And we'll talk about past performance. We also, since we are a nonprofit, we're a 501(c)(3), so we also put that information. We've received awards, notices of recognition, awards of recognition from County Board of Supervisors. So I put that information in there as well. So I do encourage you all to just, find out what differentiates you. If you're a tech company, a business company, if you're ISO certified, put that information in. If you're a small business and engineering firm, show that you have your uh, professional engineering license certifications. If you're a cosmetologist, show that you have like the cosmetology license is needed, things like that. Um, and then also talk about your new unique strengths. So my organization, we've been 5 years in business. So we always put 5+ years in business combined with our board of advisors. We have over 15 years of expertise, right? And so just be able to put those types of information down. All right. And then past performance. So as buyers are looking at your capability statement, they want to see your past performance, your success, just like in a resume. Like, what have you done? Who are some of the clients that you served? And this is especially relevant in government contracting and B2B work. I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to toggle back and forth really quickly. All right. So here I have some of the organizations that I've supported. So I have BD, Qualcomm. So it's a good mix of corporate clients and government clients, as you can see in the clients that I serve. That's something that you may want to put in there. What if some of the past projects recently completed a 3-year project supporting Caltrans, if you're an engineer, or supplied 2 years of work supplying healthcare products to Keck Medicine of USC. So be sure to put your accomplishments, the people you've worked with, because you're a new organization presenting or a company presenting your business or services to an agency, they really want to see like who have you served successfully. Okay. Right. And then also you may want to put your definitely put your contact information. That's a must. Your website, your phone numbers, your emails, any other social media accounts. If you want to share that information, please do. If there's a specific purchasing person, or business development manager at your company, put their information down. Or it could just be like an info@yourcompany.com. Also let people know like the business size, like how many people are really working there. You may not necessarily need to put all that information, but whatever you feel comfortable with. And they also may want to know like what regions you serve, because you know, if a national supplier, like let's say a Coca-Cola, picks up your capability statement, they want to know like what regions do you serve? Do you serve all nationwide, or are you a local local business that supports businesses locally? So be able to put that information in your capability statement. That goes a long way. Um, because people, with government contracts, business contracts, it could be a game changer for a small business, and so companies want to make sure that you succeed being their vendor. And so be open and honest of your capabilities of what you can actually do, right? And they'll be able to work with you. Also, if you do have one, if you don't, I encourage you guys to get a DUNS number. Um, I know we're all in the chat, but put in the chat if you have a DUNS number or a UEI number. Let me know. I'm curious to see who has these two pieces of information. And then I'll go over what a DUNS number is. Um, so a DUNS number, Duns and Bradstreet is a credit reporting agency that it's essentially organization that, how should I explain? They are kind of like Equifax or Experian, but for your business, right? And so I encourage everyone, like as you're starting to build business credit, um, you're working with different vendors, you're able to share like how vendors have worked with you in the past. Some of that information is on the Dun and Bradstreet website. And so I encourage everyone, and it's also great for building business credit as well. We've done workshops on building business credit. And the first step of that is creating a Duns and Bradstreet number. Having a DUNS number will show that you have supported other businesses. You are ready for that B2B business, right? Business to business or B2G, business to government um, work. And so definitely it'll have like I'm not sure if it publicly displays your credit score, but signifying that you have a DUNS number is really important as well. Um, Let me see if I can pull up Dun and Bradstreet. Hmm. Okay, looking in the chat. So see if people do have DUNS numbers, EINs, okay, UEIs, great, great, great. Um, because also like when you do crew sometimes with companies, sometimes with businesses, they'll ask you for this information, right? To make sure that if they look you up, there's no red flags. Show that you're an honorable like businessman or businesswoman. These agencies will report on how you do business. Okay. Let's see. And then UEI. So back in the day, it wasn't too long ago, it was like maybe 2 years they changed it. Everyone had a DUNS number. So if you wanted to do business with the federal government, you would have to have applied for a DUNS number. And now the federal government, the contracting side of the federal government has changed out. So you no longer use a DUNS number, even though it is still widely used in business. You now it's used a UEI. I think it's a UEI number. And you get that number through sam.gov. And I just want to confirm like the acronym for it. I think it's Universal Exchange something something. Unique Entity ID. Sorry. But that's what it stands for, Unique Entity ID. Okay. And you can register for a UEI, you can register for a UEI number on sam.gov. And I'm going to just walk people through really quickly. Let me see. So if you go to sam.gov, which is where you would identify contracting opportunities for the federal government. So this is sam.gov and you click on contracting right here. That's where they show you all the contracting opportunities. But on this right side, it says register your entity. When I mean your entity, your business or nonprofit, to get a unique entity ID, a UEI. And it's a pretty um it can be challenging if you don't understand. If you need technical assistance, I would say definitely reach out to Block Tech Link or Natasha. I can provide their information where we can set you up with a UEI number. Okay. And I think that I'm not sure exactly how the if the County of San Diego requires a UEI number. They said that they're trying to simplify the process, so I don't know if they're going to require it. But I know in the past I have provided my UEI number for different contracting agencies. So that is something you definitely want to get. It's free. Um, and a registration allows you to bid on government contracts and apply for federal assistance. As part of registration, they will assign you a UEI number, unique entity ID. So, and then let's look at the checklist really quickly. So a lot of this is very, they don't ask for like your taxes or anything. It's not necessarily a certification, but they just want information on your business, when you started, where you started, if you have any licenses, certifications, who's your representatives at your business, who's going to be monitoring it. They also ask if you're ready for defense contracting. They have a separate like questions for that. They want to know your points of contacts. And then if you're a small business, they want to know your business size, your annual revenue, things like that. It's pretty fairly easy to get. But it can be, and then here's your business name, state you're incorporated and things like that, organization start date. If you have multiple subsidiaries, what are those address? What's that information? Your website, and things like that. Okay. And I will share this in the chat. Let me see if I can download it. Yep. I'll put that in the chat. Okay. So if you do nothing else today, if you don't have it, get your DUNS and your UEI number. All right, I see Carolyn, you said you have your both DUNS and UEI number. Good, good, good. Capability statement, NAICS codes, and other designations have been on sam.gov for many years and definitely could benefit from your help. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right. So what's next? As Carolyn just mentioned, we're going to talk about NAICS codes. Dr. Perkins asks a good question. What if your small business is virtual, remote, and you don't have a brick and mortar address? So I'll tell you, my business is remote as well, virtual, but you have to give some type of address. You can't just say we're here. If you have, it could be your home address. I know that when you apply for business in your state, um, like if you're doing business with the state of California or registering your business with the city or the county, you have to give some form of address, and you definitely want to be able to provide an address. If you don't want to give out your personal address, I'm pretty sure you can find like a mailing box, but you want to check the specifics. I'm not sure if when you're registering, if they accept a PO box. I would try and find like a mailbox with a actual like address location, like a UPS store or postal annex. Um, yeah, I know office addresses can become expensive. And so if your address is your personal address, go ahead and by all means use that. Okay. Let's see. So one of the other things that I like to that I believe you should put on your capability statement are NAICS codes. NAICS codes, and it's a very common industry term, but it signifies what type of business are you doing. If you're a construction company, you have a specific type of NAICS codes. If you're a transportation company, you have a specific type of NAICS codes. And NAICS means North American Industry Classification System. It's a six-digit number used to classify businesses by their industries. Federal agencies use these codes to collect and analyze economic data. Businesses rely on NAICS codes for market research, government contracts, and tax incentives. So I have put two websites. One is from the Census Bureau and one is from NAICS.com, where you can identify your NAICS codes. So I know there's a bunch of people on the call, and I want to see who does not have a NAICS code? Anyone in the chat want to share? Uba, nice to meet you. Uba, what type of business do you have? Web design. So we're gonna help Uva find his NAICS codes today. It's gonna be a fun little project. Okay. So I'm gonna go to stop my share. Give me a moment. Okay. Oops. Oops. Can everyone see my screen okay? I don't know if I shared it properly. Oh, here it is. All right. So we're going to go to the next website and I will share those again. You can go to the Census Bureau and you can also go to NAICS.com and I'll show you how to find it on both websites. So NAICS.com is in the chat. Okay. So this is the way that you would identify your NAICS codes for the type of service that you provide, right? So let's see. We're going to go to code search. Okay. And as Uba said, he or she, I'm sorry, I don't, their business, they provide web design. And so I'm thinking that, as you can see, these are the type of sectors that um, that have NAICS codes. So there's agricultural, forestry, mining, utilities, construction, manufacturing, wholesale, retail, transportation, information, finance, real estate, rental and leasing, professional, scientific, and technical services, management of companies and enterprises, administrative and support and waste services, educational services, healthcare and social assistance, arts and entertainment, recreation, accommodation and food services, other service, public administration. So there are a lot of different industries that are represented here. I'm thinking that web design may be information, but let's take a look. So these are the type of like information in the information sector. These are the type of subsectors, sub-industries that are in for information. So I see motion picture and video industries, that's not it. Sound recording, I don't think it's it. Newspaper, periodical, no. Software publishers, no. Radio and television broadcasting, media streaming. Um, that may that you could use that social networks and other media networks, content providers, but I that's not quite web design. So web search portals, I don't think that's it. I'm gonna go back. Let's try professional scientific because marketing services is a professional service. So let's see what comes up. Okay, we have legal services, accounting, architectural engineering, specialized design services. Okay, so graphic design, that may be in that wheelhouse. Management, scientific, and technical consulting. So marketing, consulting services. Here we go. Advertising, public relations, and related services, other professional services. So let's take a look at, I don't think it would be computer system designs. Maybe it'd be graphic design services. Let's take a look. So that's more like logo design, like art, silk screen. And as you can see, like in these NAICS codes, there, if you click further, they'll tell you exactly what the NAICS codes are. And sometimes each year the NAICS codes can change. And I think 2022 is the latest version of the NAICS codes. So this would be the most latest, right? but we still don't see web design. Let's see. Let's try this marketing consulting services. See what pops up. No, marketing management. And you can have multiple NAICS codes. So if your business like is web design and it's kind of in the wheelhouse of marketing, you can include one of these NAICS codes as your own, right? Dr. Perkins said, I use graphic design for my website design services. Absolutely. So graphic design could also be um, your own, you could also use the graphic design NAICS codes for web design as well. But we want to make sure that we find over the right one. All right. Let's see. Public relations, media, indoor, commercial. Or we can do this, do a little cheat. Let's just ask Google web NAICS codes, NAICS code for web design. Here we go. Custom computer programming services. And I thought of that one too, because it is right. That is absolutely right. I thought of that one. But yeah, so here's a service, custom computer programming services, computer systems design services. That's more like UI, UX, but let's see. Application software, computer software services, custom, robotics. Here we go. Software programming services, web page design services, custom, right here. So this would be the perfect NAICS code for UBA. I'm going to put this in the chat. And UBA, I really hope that you are creating your capability statement. We found the NAICS code for UBA for the service that she provides. Okay. Yay. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. Right. And so, like I said, you go to NAICS.com. I also wanted to share another resource that may be up to date. NAICS.com is a private agency. So, but for the most up-to-date NAICS codes, you want to go to the Census Bureau website. All right. And it's census.gov/NAICS. I'll put this one in the chat. Okay. And just like in the NAICS.com kind of simplifies it, but is essentially the same information that is on the NAICS.com website. So you can do, let's see, you can click on these reference files right here. And as you can see, all the sectors are broken down. And right now, like the way I show you, the sectors are broken down by 2-digit codes, right? Because each sector is so large, but there's sub industries within these sectors, like I mentioned, like in construction. These are the different kinds of construction, residential remodelers, commercial institution building, water and sewer line construction. So depending on the type of business you do, NAICS codes helps narrow it down, right? And why do we have NAICS codes? Because sometimes government agencies, buyers, they may not necessarily put something out for bid if it's under a certain amount of dollar amount, right? They may just want to purchase something directly. And how are they going to look you up? How are they going to look a business up? They're going to look by their NAICS codes. They're going to say, we need a highway, street, and bridge construction. Let's see who's registered their NAICS codes on our website. And if you don't have the right NAICS code, you're going to miss out on that opportunity. All right. I'll show my capability statement really quickly. As you can see, I do a lot. So I have multiple NAICS codes. A lot of them are in the 5-4 sector. And I think 5-4 was professional, scientific, and technical services. Some of them are educational based, some of them are marketing based. Okay. depending on, so as you can see, the first two, 5.4 is professional, scientific admin. I forget what 8.1 is, 5.6. I mean, it's all marketing, it's all educational, things like that. If you need help identifying your NAICS codes, we're more than happy to help. Let's go to moving on. All right. All right. So here also what differentiates you apart are your certifications. And if you don't have a certification, that's okay. As I mentioned before, June 27th and 28th, we're doing a government certification contracting summit. So if you're looking to get certified, learn about the certification process, whether you're a woman-owned business, a disabled veteran-owned business, minority-owned business, tribal-owned, 501c3. Well, 501c3, you have to go through the IRS to get that one. That's your nonprofit designation. If you're a hub zone, and some of these may seem foreign to you, some of people may be familiar with those, but having these different types of certifications may set you apart. Sometimes nonprofits or not nonprofits, government agencies, they have what's called set aside funds for a woman-owned business, for a disabled veteran business enterprise. They may have set asides. I think I wanted to recently apply for or submit a bid for a contract that focused on providing educational workshops, right? For some agency, I forget which one, but it was providing like educational workshops that focused on small business development. And then when I took a closer look, I had to be a tribal owned business and I wasn't. And so I missed that opportunity, right? Well, the opportunity was set aside for someone else. But, if let's say I was, indigenous and I was an indigenous owned business, and I didn't have that tribal owned certification, like I would miss that opportunity. And so just be on the lookout for that. If you do have certifications, please put them on your capability statement, okay?